What's up, YouTube? After about 4 or 5 solid hours of driving, we are finally here in the Adirondack Mountains. Right now I'm in this really cool town called Inlet, which, believe it or not, every year when I was a child, for about 10 years, I used to come here with my family. And sorry, the wind is like making me cry right now. I don't know what's up with that. One of the coolest things about this town is that there's this hike here called Rocky Mountain. And every single year when I would come here, we would do it like 5 or 6 times. It's only like a 1.5 mile round trip, but there's this really cool view over a couple of the lakes at the top of it. And since I'm here in Inlet, I actually decided to pull in right here, which is actually the base of Rocky Mountain. And so I think we're gonna send it up this mountain and get a couple photos from the top. I'm actually gonna be here in the Adirondacks for the next like 48 hours or so, and then I'm making a trip out to New Hampshire, which is gonna be pretty awesome. I went there last year with my good friend Anthony, and we were only there for like a day trip, and it was like the most beautiful place I've ever been to. So the second half of this trip, we're gonna be going out to New Hampshire, and I am super pumped. Let's get after it, and let's start doing some hiking. It's pretty windy up here, so I decided to take some cover in these trees so you guys could actually hear me, but wow, this view is absolutely gorgeous. I wanted to come up here to the Adirondacks to do some camping, to do some hiking, and of course, to do some photography. I really want to take advantage of the fact that these leaves are changing colors. It's the most beautiful foliage right now. It's not quite peak right now, but there are some gorgeous oranges and reds all over the place. And I'm really excited for this weekend. So I can't remember if I already mentioned it to you guys or not, but I used to come here every single year with my family, and we would do this hike all the time. But I've never been here in the fall before, and it is 10 times more beautiful than I ever remember it being. Alright, mission accomplished. So I wasn't actually even supposed to do any hiking or any photography today, so I'm super pumped on that. That view is absolutely gorgeous back there. But I only have a couple more hours that I'm able to check into my campsite tonight, and so I still have like 2 more hours of driving to do, so I gotta do that right now to make sure I get there before the campsite check-in closes. And so let's get to it. Alright, YouTube, we are here and we are 100% set up. I did not realize how exhausted I was until I was finishing that last 1.5 hours of driving, and I was just about falling asleep at the wheel. So got here as quick as possible, and I'm just about ready to cook some dinner and go to sleep. I was hoping to shoot the sunset tonight, but I really need to cook some dinner and just go to bed because I have sunrise plans for tomorrow. So there's this hike here in the Adirondacks called Indian Head, and it's this really awesome secluded cliff on basically the edge overlooking a lake in this valley. I just said like 10 different nouns and adjectives, but I'll just show you a picture of what it looks like from when I went there last year. But every single time you go there, there's about 1 million people there because it truly is incredible. It's just such a beautiful viewpoint. So I want to try to get there when there's nobody else there, literally. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wake up at like 3:30 a.m. tomorrow and drive to the trailhead and just try to send it in the middle of the night so that I'm there for sunrise when nobody else is there. And so honestly, I haven't done that much research. I don't know if people go there for sunrise. Probably not, because I think it's like a 5 or 6 mile hike just to get there in the pitch black. And so that's really sketchy, but I think I can do it. So I bought like a headlamp that I'm gonna wear the whole way there, obviously. It's a really nice headlamp, so hopefully it gets the job done. So right now, what I need to do in order to prepare for that is just make myself some food, make my bed, get some sleep, and wake up to be ready for tomorrow. Well, this has been a definite success so far. I'm the only person up here with the exception of 2 guys that have been camping out in the woods for like the past 4 days, so that worked out perfectly. So I just snapped a photo of me kind of like standing and sitting on the edge of this cliff over here. And I thought it looked awesome. I used the 16-35 on my Sony a7 III for that. I was able to put it on like interval timer mode and just set it in the perfect spot so that it would take a photo every single second while I would kind of like posed myself and sat down and stood up in a couple different ways. So I think that those came out solid. It's so windy out here right now that I kind of have to like hide away in these bushes in order for you guys to hear me. Thankfully, I brought this tripod with me. It's my bigger tripod, so I was able to set my camera down and feel confident about it not blowing away. But it is so windy up here the second you step out of the bushes. So I think the plan right now, I'm just gonna hang out here for a little bit. I'm gonna eat a couple snacks because that was literally a 6-mile hike. I started at like 5 a.m. and so yeah, I'm just gonna relax for a little bit. So I ended up getting out a little bit later than I initially planned on doing because I didn't want to do the entirety of the hike in the pitch black. I timed it pretty much perfectly so that I did about half the hike when it was completely pitch black outside, which was pretty sketchy to be completely honest. But the headlamp that I bought was really, really useful. And then the second half of the hike, which is where it gets a little bit more difficult, you're going up super steep terrain. It was completely bright enough outside for me to see. It worked out really nicely, but I'm shocked that nobody else is up here. I've been here now for about 40 minutes and not a single soul in sight, which is awesome. I think it's probably partially because it's about to rain, which is not good for me and my camera gear. So I think I'm gonna hang out here for another 20 minutes or so and then pack everything away so I can make my way back before my camera gear gets soaked. So I was just watching in the distance and there was some light that came through the clouds for literally like half a second. And if that happened in this valley right now, it would completely change the way that this picture looks. It would make this picture absolutely incredible. So I think I might just camp it out for the next like 45 minutes or maybe even an hour, just because if it does start raining, that would suck. But there are trees covering me the entire way back, so I don't think I'd get as wet as I would if it was completely wide open. So I think I'm gonna hang it out here for a little bit and just hope that the sun comes out of these clouds for a little bit and lights up this valley so I can get a solid picture. Well, I said I was gonna camp out there for another 45 minutes or so, and it ended up being another 2 hours. So I'm on my way back right now. I'm absolutely starving, ran out of snacks. So I got a solid 6 miles ahead of me, gonna get back to the car. We gotta get some food cooking. The light actually ended up coming over the mountain and looked incredible. So it lit up the entire right-hand side of the valley, and I was able to snap a whole bunch of photos on my Sony as well as on my Leica, and I think those came out really, really good. I'm super happy with those. And so once I get back to my campsite, I'm gonna put them on my phone and edit those up. So I would already consider today to be a completely successful day. However, I just remembered that there's this really nice waterfall that's only like a mile detour away from where I was like 10 minutes ago. Look at this though. This place is absolutely incredible. So I'm gonna hike another like half mile, maybe a mile up this trail over here and check out what this waterfall looks like. This area is easily one of the most popular parts of the entire Adirondack Park, just because of how accessible it is. I mean, it's not a super easy hike. Like I said, it was like 6 miles to get up to Indian Head, but it is a relatively easy hike because it's not that much elevation gain and it's really well maintained. But there are so many people here, it's unbelievable. I actually think I was literally the first person on Indian Head this morning because of how early I left. And so that was awesome. That was a really nice experience to be up there completely by myself. This spot was well worth the extra mile of hiking. There's actually this really cool tree that you can probably see behind me right here that overhangs over this little valley. I don't know what you want to call this thing, but the waterfall comes in on this side and then there's just a rock wall on this side, and this really cool tree overhangs it. So I took this photo, I put my camera on interval timer mode again, and I took a photo of me kind of standing on this rock right underneath the waterfall and the tree looking up at it. And I think on the back of my camera, it looks really cool. I also took a couple photos without me in it because that's not really my style, but I thought it would come out cool in this instance. But I'm a little bit winded right now because I just climbed up this really sketchy like embankment right here. This is like the perfect way right here to wrap up this hike. This has been a very successful day so far. First person on Indian Head, ended up getting a break in the clouds at Indian Head, so we got some awesome pictures of golden light coming up on the one side of the mountains. And then we went to Rainbow Falls, and I ended up actually getting Rainbow Falls to myself for about 10 minutes, so I was able to snap this photo of myself and a couple of other photos just of the falls itself and that cool overhanging tree. And now I need to make about a 4 or 5 mile hike back to my car. Rather than vlogging my walk back to the car and then me just chilling out for the rest of the afternoon, I think I'm gonna wrap the video up here. So this trip is not actually over though. I'm heading tomorrow morning super early over to the White Mountains in New Hampshire, and it's gonna be incredible. I went there last year with one of my good friends, and it was one of my favorite locations that I've ever been to, so I'm super pumped for that. If you're interested in seeing that, definitely hit the subscribe button down below, because that video is gonna be coming out next week, and I'm super pumped for it. I think that that one's gonna be really solid. Anyways, let me know down in the comments below what your favorite photo was from this trip. I'm not sure what mine is yet, to be honest. I need to edit them first. Definitely give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, let me know what your favorite photo is, and hit that subscribe button to see next week's video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.